Alright, so welcome back to the channel, guys. You see the video title, you see the thumbnail. Oh, sorry. You know what we're here to talk about. Now, coming out of my end of month subscriber live stream last night, because I'm recording this as of Saturday night, I wasn't actually planning to do a video on this. I was not prepared to actually talk about the Kimetsu no Yaiba Mugen Train or Demon Slayer Mugen Train movie. I was just gonna make a community post and call it a day. Probably talk with some friends off the air, off the YouTube platform about it here and there. But here I am talking about the movie. Now, honestly, coming out of this movie, I can say it was an experience. I'm not gonna lie. No, yes, disclaimer, there will be spoilers for the movie. Fair warning. Even though I'll try to keep it at a minimum, but these are just my raw thoughts because I literally just finished watching the movie. Now, like coming out of it, I can see why it's done so well at the box office, and not all the time revenue doesn't always indicate something is of like good quality or good writing quality, whether it be games or movies or whatever the case may be in like modern day media. But I can like comfortably say to you guys, or promise you that this movie, if you're a fan of Demon Slayer, the performance and how successful this movie has been at the box office is a genuine indication of how good this movie is. It's easily a 9 out of 10 for me, honestly. And honestly, I can see how and why Demon Slayer has seemingly set the bar, kind of caused a ripple effect in terms of the anime community, or just the anime the anime culture right now, in the sense that more anime movies are dropping. And I guess that's more so reflected in like the success of like JJK, which is seemingly being compared to Demon Slayer in terms of like its rise to success. But I digress. So yeah, this movie, honestly, it's something. I can also confirm that the criticism that persons have had regarding this movie feeling more like a extended episode rather than a movie, I can see why they would say that, and I kind of feel that way coming out of this movie. It's especially the case. This is the case because this movie essentially adapts, or essentially wherever the season one of the anime adapted up to from the manga, this movie essentially just takes the next 8 to 10 chapters, the next volume right after that, and adapts it to this movie, which kind of, adds to why this movie feels more so like an extended episode, give or take, but a really damn good extended episode. Now, apart from what you'd expect from this movie regarding if you're like a Demon Slayer fan or if you've just seen clips, naturally you're going into this and you're coming out of it satisfied with the visuals, the animation, the music, the fights, like the visual effects. It's all top notch. I cannot deny that. And like it was beautiful naturally, but I think the biggest selling point for this movie for me is how they presented the themes that they actually had to work with for this movie, in the amount of time that they had for this movie. Because, for example, the biggest selling points for this movie for me in terms of the characters are definitely Tanjiro and the much anticipated Flame Hashira himself, Rengoku Kyojuro. And the fact that, especially in Kyojuro's case, that for the most part, you could definitely say this movie could translate to more or less being five episodes of the anime. And the fact that we only got this movie and basically the end of season one in terms of spending time with Kyojuro, I have come out of this movie feeling so satisfied and content with his character, even though he does die at the end of this movie. And it's not just because of what he did, but it's, as I said, the themes and how he affected even our main character and the group essentially, and what it means for the future of the series going forward as Tanjiro tries to move forward after the events of this movie. Now, of course, I'm not gonna really give you guys a play for play, but like there are a lot of themes here in terms of like dealing with loss, moving on, dealing with the death of a loved one, mortality, dealing with the fact that we as humans actually don't, I mean, your life, even though it is important in the grand scheme of the universe, the length of time you live is going to be like very short. So essentially, does this movie kind of pushes forward like the beauty of what it means to be human, but it kind of puts that against having purpose in life and sticking to your values at the end of the day. And a lot of these things are reflected in the character of Tanjiro and Rengoku in the movie. Rengoku especially so because this man literally died with a smile on his face. Rengoku D Kyojuro. You hear me? That is this man's official name right now because this man literally died with a smile on his face. Even when he knew he was going to die, it was like, yo, I did my duty, fam. I fulfilled my purpose. And it was just beautiful to see. But honestly, God, it's even the scene with Tanjiro, like at the end, like, yo, speaking to, I think the demon scene was with Akaza, just saying, like, yo, Rengoku didn't lose, fam. And he was basically just comparing, the struggle that humankind has had against the demons for the longest while, and, how they've always essentially fought at a handicap against the demons, and just kind of emphasizing that Rengoku did complete his goal and that he did not lose the fight. And it's just the frustration at the end of the movie with Tanjiro's character essentially. But as I said, the themes of the movie were definitely the big selling point for me. Seeing Tanjiro having to leave his family again, it was kind of like an infinite Tsukuyomi kind of deal with this movie. When it comes on to the initial big bad demon, the initial one who basically put them all in like a whole dream sequence, all the major characters except Nezuko. And essentially these characters basically either, experience what the demon wanted to show them from their memories, whether it be family in the case of Tanjiro, or well, family as well in the case of Rengoku. But in the case of Zenitsu and Inosuke, it was more comedic in their cases as but it is what it is. I think the weakest part of this movie is that I think persons would have wanted more from Zenitsu and Inosuke, but all in all, it doesn't take away too much from the movie, I would say. Tanjiro, as I said, his role in the movie, the theme of family and what it means to move on from or dealing with the loss of a loved one is really echoed through Tanjiro's experience in this movie. And honestly, it was kind of rough to watch. Honestly, jeez, like it just rough. If I'm being quite honest, this man literally, like, especially like when he made up his mind to leave the infinite Tsukuyomi essentially. Like his little brother in the dream sequence was like, "Yo, don't go, bro." I'm like, "Shit, dog. That's sad, bro. Honestly, it's sad." But what I also like, as I said, the other themes of, humanity and mortality, as well as, the conflict that was on display from the dream sequence that Rengoku had when it comes down to the dialogue he had with his father, where his father wasn't really impressed with him becoming a Hashira, essentially. It's like, yo, I don't believe you're gonna amount to anything. And it was just interesting and refreshing to see a character like Rengoku basically go out to his little brother and say, yo, fam, I'm gonna be straight up. That doesn't really believe in me in any shape or form. So, but yo, I'm going to believe and set my heart ablaze and follow my path in life. And you should follow your path too. No matter what you decide to do, I believe in you. Like it was just very overall beautiful in terms of how the themes really meshed with one another. And I think by the end of it, like Rengoku's characters and his influence and effect on the team, on our group, on Tanjiro, really echoed home because it it really highlighted, and this is how this is like the criticism of this feeling more like an extended episode more than a movie is true, because this movie naturally sets up things for the upcoming season, and it kind of feels like Tanjiro at the end wasn't your typical like the main character is gonna pull the winning blow in the end. And just seeing how Rengoku's character really affected Tanjiro, and his death really affected him. That kind of sounds fake. But yeah, it's just that it kind of echoed home the frustration that Tanjiro has had really with, fighting demons and all that he's gone through up until this point. And especially coming out of season 1, where we essentially ended that season with training essentially coming out of it, especially after they got their asses kicked in the last major arc in season 1 before the training at the end of season 1. And we come out at the end here of this movie with, and I think this is perfect echoed by what Tanjiro said at the end of the movie. I'm paraphrasing here, but every time I master one thing, there's this another major wall that I can't seem to get past. And it was just, what I really loved is that between that statement and the last portion of this movie, it really echoed home the limitations and the feeling of uselessness that the main character has at this point in his life, that he feels about himself, like his limitations and his doubt that he'll ever be able to actually push forward and achieve his goals. And I think overall, between all those themes that I've kind of mentioned or glossed over, it kind of really echoes with, at least, I don't know if it echoed with you if you've watched the movie, but it echoed with me, honestly. And yeah, it was really beautiful overall, honestly. Rengoku, best boy. Best boy, yes to me. Like, yeah. And credit does go to the voice actors. The voice acting, man, like, it's just Tanjiro's speech and everybody crying in the end. It's just shit, man. All the themes really resonated with me. So yeah, it was a really good movie. Really good, really good. And I'm looking forward to season 2. And like I say with a lot of stuff, I really need to read the manga. I might binge the manga before the entire manga itself is adapted into animated form. So yeah, this was quite amazing. Quite amazing. As I said, from the themes of mortality, humanity, duty, purpose, family, loss, sacrifice, moving on from the death of loved ones, feeling doubt, self-doubt when it comes on to, meeting your goals in life, and it was just rough, beautiful. But yeah, that's my initial thoughts and impressions of the Demon Slayer Mugen Train movie. Jeez. Anyway, thanks for tuning in. If you made it this far, be sure to subscribe. It definitely helps me out, along with liking the video. Journey to 20,000 subs. I literally teared up at one point in this movie, man. Shit. Sanjae Uchiha, and I'll see you in the next one.